Welcome to VGuide TV. In this video, I am discussing few questions from electricity. See the question here. The given figure IV curve for a nichrome wire of given length and cross section. Which of the following is the graph 2? They gave here a graph of I and V, and this is the graph 1 and this is graph 2. Okay, so they gave some option: increase the length of nichrome wire, decrease the thickness of nichrome wire, replace the nichrome wire with a similar copper wire. None of this. So here you have to remember the important thing: what does the slope of the graph represents? What does the slope of the graph represents? Okay, so remember it is an IV graph. What is called slope? Slope is nothing but y-axis divided by x-axis. Here y-axis is I, x-axis is V, I by V. What is I by V? According to Ohm's law, I by V is 1 by R because V by I equal to R. So, if you find a slope of the graph, I get a value of 1 by R, you remember. And in the question they told this is for a nichrome wire. Okay. So, at what time I should get the second graph? Okay. So, second graph means in the second graph the slope is high, right? Slope is high. How can I tell slope is high? For doing this type of question, you find any point in along x-axis, right? So, I am taking this point in the x-axis. So, just take it up, okay? And take the corresponding y value. For the same x value, what is the y value for the second graph? Okay? So, this is y1, this is pi 2, okay? So, we understood that y2 is greater than y1. From this graph, which is greater? y2 is greater than y1. As y2 is greater than y1, the slope of y2 by y by x-axis or y-axis by x-axis is called slope. As y2 is greater than y1, the slope of the second graph is greater than the slope of which graph? First graph. Slope of second graph is greater means the resistance is less because we are getting 1 by R, right? So, the meaning is I need to get an answer in which the resistance should come as less, right? So, what I did here, you see, slope of the given graph, I wrote it as 1 by V, I by V equals 1 by R. And from here I understood the slope of curve 2 is greater than slope of curve 1. So I can write the slope of 1 is lesser than slope of 2. So from this we can understand that the resistance of 2 is lesser than resistance of 1. Right? Why? Because here I told you slope of 2 is greater than slope of 1. So 1 by R2 is greater than 1 by R1. It means that R2 is lesser than R1. Clear? Clear? R2 is lesser than R1. So from the given data, they told if you increase the length of the nichrome wire, I will get less resistance. That is the meaning, right? So that is not possible because resistance equation is R equals rho L by A. If length increases, resistance also increases. If resistance increases, we don't get that graph. So the option A is wrong. Increase the length of the nichrome wire, it won't get the second graph because if you increase the length of the nichrome wire, the resistance also increases. Right? So the first option is wrong. Second option they told, decrease the thickness of the nichrome wire. If you decrease the thickness, it means if you decrease the radius, resistance should increase. If the resistance should increase also, we don't get the second graph. We don't get the second graph because if the resistance is increased, 1 by R should decrease. So, we don't get the second graph. Third one they told, replace nichrome wire with a copper wire. So you should understand what is the difference of a nichrome wire and a copper wire. Nichrome is an alloy of nickel, chromium, manganese and iron. Right? So its resistivity is high. Resistivity of nichrome is greater than resistivity of copper. But I told, the resistivity of nichrome wire is greater than resistivity of copper. So it means that the copper wire has less resistance. So if you remove nichrome wire and if you add a copper wire, what happens for the resistance? Resistance will decrease. Resistance will decrease means the slope will get a greater here. Clear? So here which option is correct? Third option, resistance of copper is lesser than resistance of nichrome. So slope of copper is greater than slope of nichrome. So which option is correct? Third option. See, I need to repeat it again. In this question, the main thing in the question is, it is an IV graph. This all condition will reverse if it is VI graph. This is an IV graph. So what does the slope keep? Slope is y-axis by x-axis. So y-axis here it is current by voltage. So it is 1 by R. Here only artist, right? But if it is a VI graph, the slope will give direct resistance. But in this graph, the slope is giving us 1 by R because y-axis I plotted current. Okay? Now, they are asking here at what time I should get the graph 2. Okay? So, first graph is for a nichrome wire. The given figure shows IV graph and the curve 1 and the curve 1 gives for a nichrome wire. When you get the curve 2. So, curve 2 means slope is higher. Slope is higher means y2 is greater than y1. So, I understood that slope of curve is greater means what is the meaning? 1 by R. Slope of S2 is greater than slope of S1 means 1 by R2 greater than 1 by R1. This you remember. Okay. This is for which graph? IV graph. For an IV graph, slope 1 is lesser than slope 2 or slope 2 is greater than slope 1 means 1 by R2 greater than 1 by R1. It means that R2 is lesser than R1. So I should get a lesser resistance, then only your graph goes to R2, graph slope 2, or this graph I will get it. So they gave the first condition to increase the length. If you increase the length, according to this equation, if you increase the length, the resistance also increases. Resistance increase means slope will decrease. Resistance increase means what happened for the slope? Slope will get decreased. Second case they told about thickness you decrease. If you decrease the thickness also, resistance increase. So in this case also slope will get decrease. Next you told you remove the nichrome wire you and add the copper wire. So copper wire we know that copper wire of less resistance. Copper wire less resistance means 1 by R. 1 by R we get greater. So I can write slope of resistance of copper is lesser than resistance of nichrome means slope of the copper wire if you do. Slope of the copper wire means 1 by R. So 1 by R of copper is greater than 1 by nichrome. So that is the reason you can tell that graph 1 changes to or the curve 1 changes to curve 2 when nichrome wire is replaced with a copper wire. Resistivity of nichrome is greater than resistivity of copper. Why? Because nichrome is an alloy, so its resistivity is high. As resistivity is high, resistance also will be high. As resistance is high, 1 by R will be less. Okay, so if you check it like this, the first graph, the first is for a nichrome wire and the second graph is for a copper wire. All the condition will reverse if the graph is a VI curve. V is along y-axis and I is along x-axis. Clear? Now, the next question. The resistance of wires of same material and of equal length and equal diameter are connected in series with a simple circuit consisting of a voltage source V. Now the same wires are connected in parallel in the same circuit for the same time. The voltage source is replaced by another voltage of 2V. What is the ratio of heat produced in the case? So heat produced means I gave you Joule's law. You just watch our videos of electricity. H is equal to I square RT. H is also equal to V square by R into T. It is also equal to VIT. As in the question, they are mentioning about the voltage and they are mentioning about the resistance. I am using which equation? I am using the second equation. V square by R into T is my equation I am taking. So the first case, they told there are two resistances and they gave two conditions: same material, equal length, equal diameter. Right? So it means that for both the wires, resistances are same. Right? So first they told you connect it in series. Second time they told you connect the two resistances in parallel. If you connect it in series, you get a heat. If you connect it in parallel, you will get another heat. I need to find out the ratio of the heat produced. Check it here. I am writing here the resistance equation R equal rho L by A. Same material, same length, equal diameter. So resistance will be same. So both the wires resistances are same. When two wires resistance are same means if they connect it in series, R plus R. What is R plus R resistance? 2R. So heat is nothing but V square by R. H is equal to V square by RT. V square by R in RT. Sorry, V square by R into T. V square by R into T. Okay, T I did not write, sorry. Now, if you do it here, we can tell here, in this case, H1 is equal to V square by R, V square by R. See here, in this question, it is V square by R into T because I gave you the equation here, V square by R into T. So, I substituted here, first heat is V square by R1 into T. Right. So R1 is nothing but what is R1 here? 2R into T. Equation number 1. When the resistances are connected in parallel, what is parallel equation? 1 by Rp is equal to 1 by R plus 1 by R. 1 by R plus 1 by R is 2 by R. So what is the resistance in parallel? That is nothing but R by 2. So that only I have written here, R2 equals R by 2 when they connect it in parallel. Okay. So H2 is equal to V square by R2 into T. What is the voltage here? In the question they told, second case, the voltage is 2V. So I am writing here 2V the whole square by R by 2 into T. Okay. Here also 2V square and this 2. So it will be 8V square by R into T. In the question, they clearly told it is of same time. That's what I did not write the time factor first. Same time. So if you write T or if you are not writing T, no problem because it get cancelled. If you put here one T, here also one T, T get cancelled. So there is no role. That's what first I did not write T. Okay. Why I have written here? Because many people will get the confusion where the T goes. So T is there. If you write T, that T and this T will get cancelled because they told both happen in the same time. So we can write here H1 by H2. H1 by H2 is V square by 2R into T by 8V square by R into T. T get cancel, R cancel, V square cancel. So we get an answer as 1 is to 16. 1 is to 16. So what I told now is a very, very important equation, that is our Joule's law. H is equal to I square RT, V square by R into T, VIT. So in this three equation, I use second equation because they are mentioning about the voltage in the question. And see, in this question we are connecting in series and parallel. Series means remember the equation R plus R equal to R. I found heat. Parallel means we know 1 by R equal 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. It is 2 by R. Take the reciprocal R by 2. We got the heat in the second case. What is H1 by H2? Okay, we got 1:16. So Joule's law, it's very, very important. And the first thing what I told is a very important thing. The slope of a curve, or the slope of, I'm just giving like this, slope of VI graph gives resistance, but the slope of IV graph represents 1 by R. Remember, very important. Slope of VI graph. What is the meaning of VI graph? Y-axis is V, x-axis is I. What is the meaning of IV graph? Y-axis is I and x-axis is V. Slope of VI graph gives resistance, whereas slope of IV graph gives 1 by R. Clear? Thank you for watching our video. Thank you for watching V-Guide TV. Subscribe our channel and press the bell button and watch all our videos of electricity, and watch our next video. Subscribe our channel, press the bell button to get the updates about our new videos. Thank you.